Hi, cutie pies. This is Lanikia, and I am coming to you on Tuesday, 3/22/2022, with another episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. Don't forget, if you want to work from home, to check out my work from home videos that I have on this channel. Okay, so just getting into it, we see not much has really moved on here, but I do like that they brought in some new actors. Well, not new actors, but different people on the storylines. So Steffi is still watching Sheila and Thomas, and she said she's going to get to the bottom of what's going on because she can't figure out what the two of them would be doing together talking. And on top of that, why are they talking in this alley? So she leaves, right? So Thomas, just wrapping them up. So Thomas and Sheila continue to talk, and he tells Sheila, I want my parents together. I mean, he tells her what he's been saying. I want my parents together, but I'm not happy about the methods that you went in about doing this. And she tells him, don't you wimp out on me. Don't you wimp out on me. Your parents are together because of me, and you should be groveling that I did this. And he says, okay, first of all, you did this for you. So stop acting like you did this to do us a big favor. And second of all, I don't like you. He's like, I don't like you, and I'm not going to be groveling and thanking you. Like, you mess with Brooke's sobriety. That is not the way to go about this. Like, if you wanted her out of the picture or whatever, that way of doing it, that was just wrong, and it's so unethical. And he's not really with that, but she keeps telling him to be quiet. And Thomas, I don't know why you keep meeting with Sheila because you know you're not going to say anything. So let's move this right along. But anyways, that's what it came down to for them. He's still not saying anything, but unfortunately for him, Steffi saw him. So now she goes home and she is talking to Finn because he comes downstairs and she tells him, he was like, what's wrong? It looks like something's bothering you. And she says, I saw my brother with your mom. And he was like, Thomas and Sheila? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, he's been acting so weird. He hasn't been happy about our parents being together. And she doesn't understand why. And she's confused on that, and that that he's just not happy, and he doesn't even like Sheila. So why would he be meeting with her? And all these different things that have been going on with him. And so Thomas is like, well, did he she said what kicked this all off was that she heard his phone call. You remember he was talking to Sheila on the phone, and it was all intense. So she decided to follow him. She tells Finn, I decided to follow him, and when I did, I saw them. And he said, well, did you go up to them or anything? And she said, no. She said they weren't in the restaurant eating. They weren't having a drink or anything. They were in the back alley talking. And he was like, what? And she was like, yes, they were in the back alley talking. So I'm just confused on what they could possibly have going on. What's going on between me and your mom and my brother? Girl, he don't know. He just came from Sheila, and she told him everything was all good and you won't hear my name in anything else. And he believed her. So now Steffi and Finn know something's going on, and hopefully they get to the bottom of this. And she's just hoping that Thomas hasn't gotten into anything with Sheila. Thomas, if Thomas would just go ahead, if you would just go ahead and tell what you know, then people could forgive all of this. But because you keep holding this for days, the longer you hold it, the angrier people are going to be. Now, then we see Ridge is trying to get this model dressed and everything, and he's like, it's missing something, it's missing something. So then Eric comes in and says, put a belt on, and he was like, yes, you still got it or whatever. And the model tried to flirt with Eric, and she walks out, go on, girl. And he was like, he doesn't know if Quinn would be happy with that or whatever. But so okay, he comes to check on Ridge to make sure that he's okay, because he says, I know you were in the guest house with Steffi. And he says, I know Taylor, Thomas, and Steffi are happy about that. And he also lets him know that, I just want to make sure you're okay. He said, because Taylor is a good a woman of principle and everything. But Brooke is pretty much your heart. Brooke is the woman of your destiny. That's the woman for you. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. And he says he's always looked at Brooke as being the woman for him as well. So, with that being said, he asked Rich how is he doing, and he said it's been um difficult, but he's trying to get through it or whatever. But Eric just keeps telling him, Brooke is the woman for you. I know your mother, how your mother felt, but I always knew that Brooke was the one. So then that takes us to over here with Brooke, who is talking to Hope again, and she's still crying and everything about, why did I drink, why did I do this? And I'm like, girl, how many days are you going to be standing in this living room crying? But she's just confused. But Brooke, she wants to know, why did I do this? Why did I drink? What triggered this? Because she's like, if I could just find out what triggered this, I could figure out like why, what it is, and not do that again. Get to do the work on, how to handle whatever it was that triggered her. But I mean, it was Sheila and Sheila's little evil plan that Thomas won't tell because he's too afraid of losing his parents, so he won't tell what's going on or anything. And so Hope just keeps telling her, Mom, Ridge loves you. You love Ridge. Stop beating yourself up. Because at this point, she just keeps beating herself up. And so she starts having all these flashbacks of Stephanie and how Stephanie just was, knew that Brooke was no good, and how Stephanie felt about her being no good. She wasn't good for the family. She just tore them apart. She was a train wreck. She wasn't good enough for Ridge, and all these different things. And and Brooke is just like, she always knew that I was like this. She knew me better than I knew myself, she said, and that I was no good for Brooke. I'm not good for Brooke, but now, excuse me, I'm not good for Ridge. But now Brooke is really regretting letting Ridge go, because she said, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I love him. What was I thinking? We could work through this. And Hope was just like, talk to him, Mom, and just tell him and everything. So on one hand, Brooke is conflicted because she's like, I was no good for this man. On another hand, she's like, but I really do love this man, so I want to be with him. And so she keeps flip-flopping back and forth. So while she's flip-flopping, Ridge comes in. And Ridge doesn't say too much because all the women do all the talking for him. But Ridge comes in and Hope says, just tell him how you feel. And so Brooke starts telling him, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I just I can't live without you. I'm thinking about you, and I want this marriage to work. I don't know why I sent you over to to Steffi's guest house with Taylor and Thomas. I don't know why I did that, because I want to be with you and I wanted this marriage to work and I want us to work out, and I just want to be with you, and I think we could get through this and everything. And Ridge doesn't say anything. I mean, and that's how it goes off, y'all. And that was the bold and the beautiful today. Scale of 1 to 10. I forgot to put that at the earlier at the start of the video. I'm gonna give it like a 7. I mean, it was solid. It was 6, 7. It was solid. All right, guys, that was the bold and the beautiful. I will see you tomorrow for another episode.